Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Going a little earlier today because I've got so much stuff going on today. It's a busy one. So if you're watching the replay, great. And if you're watching it live, awesome. This is the topic we're covering today in the 10-day Love Scope Challenge. This is the book, 50 Ways to Love Your Lover. But chapter 32 is going to be a fun. Codependence versus interdependence. And I'll get to that shortly. Okay? Hey, good over here. Good morning. Whoops. Get this thing set up right in the tripod. There we go. Kind of a grey day here today, so it's not as sunny as usual, which is a nice change. Sorry, I guess it's up the right way so I can do this scope the right place. Yeah, so prepared, isn't it? Yeah, well, Lisa, where you are, I think you've probably had less blazing hot days than we have here in LA, so I'm actually grateful for a grey one for a change. So, hi. Whoops, let's get out of the way. Yeah, set myself up for this. It's going to be a good conversation. Welcome to day 6 of the 10-day love challenge. Not sure what that language is, don't speak it, so I can't help you with that one, sorry. This is the challenge. If you want to go barryselby.com/challenge, find out more about it. Let me introduce myself from globally. Wow. You've got such a diverse audience, I love this. Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Barry Selby. My work, my passion, my service is in the service of the feminine. I'm a heartbreak repair specialist, coach, counselor, teacher about relationships, romance, and love. I'm a number one selling author, and excuse me, sir, but language like that isn't allowed. We don't talk about that language in this scope, rarely so, in fact. This is my book, 50 Ways to Love Your Lover. It is available as an ebook, which is what I'm teaching from today, and you can get that yourself on my website, and I'll tell you that in a moment how to get that. But this is the day 6 of the challenge. You can join in anywhere, so if you're just joining today, awesome. If you're coming in later on the whole thing, even better. This is going to be a good topic. So thanks for coming in. Lots of people all over the world, which is kind of fun. Stay there. Okay. Hi. So if you're here for the first time, please make sure that you do in fact swipe right on the iPhone. Yeah, swipe right on the iPhone, up on the Droid, tap on follow me. Also, please share this on Twitter and share with your followers on Periscope. That'd be great. We'll get into the topic today. I'm waiting for a couple of people to join who are the regulars because they want to know about this topic. Hopefully you do too. And the replay viewers will as well. The section of the book we're covering today is about authenticity and communication, which is section 6 of the book. This is day 6. And this topic got selected by everybody, chapter 32, which I've talked about in previous scopes, but I want to talk about it here because it's part of the requirement and request of the audience. Excuse me, quick slurp. So, if you are someone who wants to have an amazingly different relationship and you've had some challenges in the past, this chapter may change your life. It's a potent, I'm going to say this in a simple way before I get into it. For most of us, we don't get any training about relationships. Like, does anybody get training for relationships? At least intentional training. We tend to get what we're given. As in, we get to see what's around us. We get to learn from our parents and from the peers and the adults around us who are the models of relationship that we think are the right ones. And we think we know what we're going to get out of that. Yes, exactly. So a lot of what I'm teaching over the last week and this week are things that weren't taught to us as kids. I know I didn't learn them. And I'm presuming most of you guys didn't learn them either. So each topic, and again, this is taken from my book. And as you can see on the front, 50. That's how many chapters are in the book, how many principles. I'm going to teach you 9 in this series. The last 8 say for something special. But I've got 9 sections of the book. So I'm just teaching for 1 chapter out of each section. So I've done some research. I've been studying this for a long time. And I've learned a lot of lessons along the way, both in my own love life, in good ways and bad ways, and also from what I've seen with my clients and people I've studied with. So this chapter in particular is potent. It's not the most fun chapter, but it is the most potent, if that makes any sense. To be honest, I'm just going to read ahead to let you know what's coming up in the next couple of days because that is fun. Where are we? Yeah, Wednesday is all about sexual attraction, so that's going to be really fun. But today's about authenticity and communication, which you need this building block though before we get to Wednesday. So stay tuned, stay with me. Yeah, anyway, just jumping a little spice in the mix. So today's chapter is chapter 32, which is, and we'll read the heading here, learn the difference between codependence and interdependence. Hint, authentic relationship is the latter. So I'm going to break this apart and give you the piece of this because it's not an easy thing to talk about. Hi Barry, thanks for joining me. Glad you're here. If you're just coming in as a reminder, this is day 6 of a 10-day challenge. You're welcome to join in right now. The previous 5 days are archived at catch.me. That's where the archive is, catch.me/barryselby. And they're also in the Facebook group. So if you want to get all the information I've spoken about so far, as in last week, and the summaries, if you go to barryselby.com/challenge and sign in there, first of all, you're going to get all the next ones for the rest of the week coming up, and you'll also get access to the Facebook group where all the archives are stored. So you can see all the questions and also the replays of the scopes I did last week. Okay, so back to chapter 32. The difference between codependence and interdependence. I better explain a little bit what that's about, because for most people that's like, what does that mean? What is this stuff? We are in a society that has not taught us healthy relationship rules. There's been books written about them, some good, some bad. I like to think mine's in the good column, but some people don't. In the area of connection, we tend to do things by autopilot. And I shared this last week about how we run automatic governance by subconscious. As well as that, there's the opportunity to connect with somebody from a different place. So let me explain what codependence feels like and what you might experience. Codependence, well, let me put it this way. Have you listened to any love songs of the last 60 years? On the radio, TV, music, whatever you've heard. 99% of pretty much every love song ever written was a codependent love song. Based on the fact it was talking about you couldn't survive without the other person. As in, I can't live without you. Or, if you leave me, I'll die. Which is what a lot of the themes of the love songs out there were about. And they were classics. And they were great, emotive love songs. But they're so codependent. They were teaching you that you couldn't survive the other person. So if the other person left you, or you left them, how could life go on? It's not possible. That's the thing. So, I'll just reposition this. I've got these two things in the, I've got the air conditioning vent and the smoke detector in the background, which is so not nice. I'm gonna do a different view probably tomorrow. I'll see what I can do. Anyway, back on topic. So, codependence versus interdependence. This is, I'm hoping you stay tuned for this, because this is a powerful piece. You learn this piece, it'll change your life, because the thing with codependence is it's not just in your romantic relationships, it's in every relationship. So when you get this piece sorted out and handled, it will change your life. Okay, so let me get into codependence a bit so you know what I'm talking about and what you've probably been doing in your own life and in your love life. Codependence is, well, let me read the dictionary definition of it so you get a sense of this too. Codependence is defined, I'm reading off my computer screen, so bear with me. Codependence is defined as of or pertaining to a relationship in which one person is physically or psychologically addicted as to alcohol or gambling, and the other person is psychologically dependent on the first in an unhealthy way. I'll read out of the book because I'm realizing I'm trying to read the computer screen, it's not doing it. So let me do this again, please. Sorry, bear with me for a second. Okay, the definition, to read it again, and I've got a lot of content on this. Okay, codependence is defined as of or pertaining to a relationship in which one person is physically or psychologically addicted as to alcohol or gambling, and the other person is psychologically dependent on the first in an unhealthy way. Not pretty, is it? To break it down in more of another context, indicators of that, I'm referring to the book because this is what it's about. Codependent behaviors. I'll give you 7 things to be aware of. Okay? First one, you can't live without them. So it's not about you don't want to live without them. You can't live without them. That's the addictive quality. Okay? Hey, Brent, good to have you here. I'm in the middle of talking about chapter 32 in my book, which is learning the difference between codependence and interdependence. As the subject today is authenticity and communication in relationship. Day 6 of my 10-day love challenge. So I'm just reading out of the book. 7 keys to indicate if you're in a codependent relationship or not, whether it's with a loved one or any relationship. So, first one, you can't live without them. Again, not you don't want to live without them, you can't live without them. Second one, you'll never find anybody like them again, which is why you don't want to leave. So it's like, if they leave, oh my God, I'll never find that person again, which is the heartbreak, which is the fear that you have, which is why you're codependent. Third one, this is not as fun. You can't trust your partner out of your sight. Oh boy. Literally, your trust levels are in the pits. Because you can't trust them out of your sight. You don't know what's going on behind your back. The worry's there. Number 4, trying to change or fix your partner. Because they're not right, they're not perfect. You need to fix them to make them perfect. Yeah, this is really fun stuff, isn't it? Bear with me, I'm going to get you to the good stuff soon. So please bear with me. Number 5, looking for approval from them by what you do rather than doing it because you want to. This is a tricky one. We love approval. We love feeling wanted and appreciated. So we like doing things to get that. But if you're doing it so that you can get that versus doing it because you want to, and then getting the feedback and the appreciation and the approval is a side benefit, then it's unhealthy. That's the codependent paradigm. Okay. Number 6 out of the 7. Almost there. Not feeling worthy of them loving you. This is the big one for some people. And again, not fun at all, but again, I'm going to get you through this to the other side. If you stay with me, please. Stay with me. So that's number 6. The number 7, and this is the biggest of all. Putting your partner's needs far beyond and above your own and not caring about yourself. Now, let me be honest, I've done all of these myself. And I know a lot of my clients have, and perhaps you have too. This is, and these are the 7 I use as examples. There's a lot more than that, but these are the ones that keep you thinking about this. If any of these resonate for you, if any of these match for you, be okay with it. Because it happened. Again, we learn, as I shared last week, we learn how to be in a relationship from the adults around us. So you were imprinted with beliefs from those above you in age that you didn't know differently from. So if you did this, that's what happened. So, okay. So, now we're going to talk about, I'm just scanning through things. So let me just talk about the in-between stage. Because in between, sorry, I'm putting notes here. Okay, that's codependence in a nutshell. It's not pretty, it's not fun, and it sucks. In between codependence and interdependence, which I'll get to at the end, because that's the really juicy one, that's where the fun stuff happens. Yes, trust me, there's good stuff in this. Is the independent stage. Now, in the evolution of our romantic adventures as a modern society, over the last, well, since the mid-50s, 60s, when the women's liberation movement, the feminist movement, the sexual revolution happened, we moved out of the codependent model as a whole, and women learned to have independence, or I should say women were forced into independence by the feminist movement. It was dysfunctional, my perception. It was a good start, but it wasn't the cleanest transition, to say the least. So what happened was men and women became independent because women at that point started to, well, first they were able to get their own bank accounts. They were working for themselves. They didn't need a man. Got their own apartments, drove their own cars. They had independence. So for the dating life in the 70s and 80s, and pretty much into the 90s too, which I was participating in as well, there was a, how to say this, there was this negotiation for a relationship. And it's what messed up all the dating life, because it's like in the old days, quote, it was chivalrous for men to go take a woman out and pick her up and take her out for drinks and pay for everything. Because back then, women didn't have any money. When we moved into the independent phase, stage 2, as I call it, the evolution of relationships, women had their own bank accounts, had their own money. In fact, some women earned as much as or more than men. Rarely, but that was the case. So dating became this negotiation. You know, a man could be taken out by a woman, and a woman could let a woman take her out and then like say, no, I'm paying this, which was for men was either like, no, that's not right, or yes, please. You know, we had confused reactions ourselves as men. It was a messy time for us in relationship. And to be honest, relationships weren't as sexy as they could be because we were negotiating this stuff. And it was not so much, and to be honest, what was happening at the same time underneath this was women were basically emulating the men in work. Because back in the 60s, they burned their bras, cut their hair, put on suits, went to work as men, competing in the male world as male energy. When they got home or when they went out on dates, they didn't turn it off. And that's a whole other piece I talk about in my work and I coach my clients with, because so many women are dynamic leaders in the world. They're strong, successful business women, but don't know how to turn that off when they go into a relationship and dating. But that's another piece of the conversation. Anyway, back to this one. So that's independence. Interdependence, and this is the next piece, is taking the ability to recognize that we are independent and we are different. Men and women, masculine and feminine, are different. Hey Heidi, nice to have you here. If you have to go back and watch the replay for the rest of this, I'm sort of getting deeper into the third level right now. Quick recap, we started with the codependent, into the independent, now into interdependent, which I'm talking about right now. This is chapter 32 in my book, by the way. 50 Ways to Love Your Lover, on Amazon and on Kindle. And by the way, for those who are following along, I'm going to find. Sorry, I've got my note pages here. Paper everywhere. There it is. Yeah, props. You can get the book here at barryselby.com/book, and I recommend the ebook version so you can get it right away and start working on this. So, interdependence. This is where we've evolved beyond the independent stage in the place where we really desire a relationship, but it requires a shift. First of all, to be clear, not second, first of all, to be clear, as men and women, we are different. Duh. Surprise, surprise. So we have different gifts, different ways of being. And as was learned in the independent stage in the 70s and 80s, where women had their own bank accounts and their own cars and apartments and had their own lifestyle, they didn't need men, which is what happened a lot in that period where women were like, don't need a man, which men felt really rejected by, understandably. Beyond that, though, is the chance to dance together. It's different from the codependent model. Because codependent was like the man took care of the woman didn't have any say or control, really. Even if it be different, that's what happened. Interdependence is, do you want to dance? Let's dance, and let's dance together as equals, but different equals. So men and women can live their full power in their masculine and feminine, respectively, and then be together in a relationship where each brings unique things to the relationship. They're additive, but at the same time, this is the key part, that each partner is whole, healthy, and complete as they are. They don't need anything from their partner, but they love the stuff from their partner. I hope this is sinking in and making sense. And this is the part that's the deepest work, and it's the hardest work in some ways, to go beyond the framework of I can't live without you, which is very romantic in the old sense, but it's very dysfunctional in the human sense. Just going to be like, okay, I need you, I can't live without you, that's the way it's going to be, and I'll die without you, which is like, that's not fun. And every time you go through a relationship, you think you're going to die. That's not healthy. Interdependent is the choice. It's the recommendation. It's what I coach my clients to have. Because by being interdependent, you are fully yourself. You love who you are. You own your own abilities and skills and talents. And you don't need your partner. But you love your partner. And find a partner that's attractive to you the same way. Your relationship gets so much bigger than just the two of you. Because codependence really is the appearance of, I'm missing something, and when you show up, you feel that piece that's missing in me. That's like, there's a book, Shel Silverstein wrote it, called The Missing Piece. And it's basically this circle that has a gap in it. And it's looking for this piece that's going to fit in there to make it complete. And that's the idea of codependent relationships. It's not you and me together, it's you and me like as one, but not as a holistic one, it's as the codependent. So what I mean is, the old model used to be relationships are a 50-50 conversation. Baloney. Bullshit, to be honest. Relationships are not 50-50 because we're not 50% who we are. We're 100%. And when we own who we are, and we live our gifts and love our gifts with our partners, then we are 100% and our partner's 100% coming together as 200%. What's possible? This is the magnificence of a healthy, conscious, authentic relationship. This is my passion to help my clients get. So, in summary, to go briefly, in chapter 32 of my book, again, 50 Ways to Love Your Lover, chapter 32, which is this, in the section of authenticity and communication, the codependent model is the old model that we're still, many of us, living in. Some of us evolved into the independent level, which is where we have our own lifestyle, we live the way we want, but the relationship is kind of negotiated, and frankly, it can be sexual, but it's not passionate, it's not connected, it's not deep, it's not evolving spiritually. Then there's the interdependent stage, which is what I coach and speak about. Interdependence is where the joy and the passion and the amazing stuff is. If you want some of that, let's talk. And I mean, that's what I talk about. In my book, you can read about it more again. You can get my book as an ebook, which I recommend highly, which is here, barryselby.com/book. I say get the ebook version first because it's immediately downloadable for a start. And secondly, it's half the price of the physical book. Hey, I don't mind selling it cheap. The key thing is that you do the work. My book's got 50 principles. This is day 6 of a 10-day challenge, so I'm actually on the 6th chapter I've spoken about out of 50. So there's a lot more content in the book than that. So I'm pushing the book, recommending it, yes, being overt about that, but also recommending my services. If you're in the need of changing the model of how you do a relationship, if you're really fed up with your dating history and you're fed up with not being able to find what you want in relationships, that's my speciality, and that's what I'll help you with. So on my profile here on something about sorry, I've got some paper here, so I'm looking for my notes. On my Periscope, I don't have it here. Okay, I'll just tell you verbally. In my Periscope bio, which if you swipe right on your iPhone or up on the droid, you'll see my bio there. First, make sure you're following me if you haven't already doing so, and please share with your followers and your Periscope fans as well on Twitter. Second thing is in my bio that shows up there too. If you click on my profile, you'll see the first link there is a link to a discovery session. Call it a consult, but it's a discovery session. Click on that, and it'll go to my website where you can actually sign in for a 30-minute discovery session with me as a gift from me to you. And we see where you are and what you want to do. And if this chapter speaks to you, please tell me that in the form. All right? Also on that bio, there's another link at the bottom of the profile, which is very simple. It's a donation button. If you're getting value from my scopes and you want to stay tuned and find out more about what I do, feel free, please, in fact, I invite you to click on the donation button and put something into my tip jar, as it were, through PayPal. It's one, it's a way of knowing that I'm getting value to you, and two, it helps me out with some, cash flow, which is always nice. But that's really what I want to tell you is about get support and take the action steps to get what you want. That's really comes down to. If you're in the challenge, great. If you're not in the challenge, please go to barryselby.com/challenge. That's where you find all the details about the challenge. This is day 6 of the 2-week challenge, of the 10-day challenge. If you do join today, you still get last week's recordings. They're already up on the site, on the Facebook page rather, and if you do sign up, you'll get the Facebook link to join in that. That's it. I haven't seen any questions come up, so I guess you're all stunned by my teaching. Or you left, either way. But I want to make sure that this is clear to you. This is a big piece of the conversation about relationships, probably one of the biggest. And it's my favorite chapter because it does stir up so much stuff for my clients. Yeah, I'm kind of like that with my clients. I like stirring things up so they get what they want. So that's it. Thanks for watching the scope. Again, join the challenge so you can be part of the conversation on Facebook. And tune in tomorrow. I'll be on day 7. And day 7, I don't remember what it is yet. I won't be able to say it right now because I don't remember. Any questions or thoughts? No, I guess not. It seems quiet out here. Enjoy the replay. Definitely take this to heart. And again, as I said before, this is not just about your romantic relationships, it's about every relationship. So that's it. That's what I wanted to get across to you so you have it in your awareness and hopefully take it into your heart. All right? So thanks for watching the scope. This one's going into the archives as well. It's key for so many people. And I'll be back on again later today because I'm part of a share-a-thon for my other group, but that's another conversation. Get out there and have fun, but take care of yourself in your love life. Your heart's important to you and to the world. We have reasons for being here. We all have reason to be here. And you do too. All right? Take care of yourself. I'll be back again tomorrow with day 7 of the 10-day challenge. I'll see you then. Bye.